perhaps one of the greatest risk factors with ill health is inflammation. Now, inflammation is basically your body's immune response to injured tissue. Any tissue, skin, muscle, tendon, ligament, etc., that is damaged either through cutting, scraping, friction burns, or internally broken down by free radical activity. The way your body repairs that is to send in elements that actually build scar tissue. And that process can take a couple of days, perhaps depending on how severe the injury is, a couple of weeks. Now, inflammation is something that should be limited to just where there is some injury. But what happens with our bodies, because of the way we treat our bodies, a lot of us end up with a lot of quite chronic inflammation. A couple of things that cause that. Number one, when you're dehydrated and your blood's thicker than it should be, there's a lot of friction force on the arterial walls as blood's flowing through the smaller arteries, and that friction can create abrasions, which then leads to inflammation. But even more severe is free radical activity. Now, a free radical is an oxygen molecule that's lost an electron. So it becomes unstable and it goes racing around looking to steal electrons from other oxygen molecules, and oftentimes it'll attack cell membranes to get those electrons, and that causes breakdown. Free radical damage has been documented for years as being a really significant factor in inflammation in the body. Now, what leads to that? Well, a really bad diet is the first point. A lot of processed food, a lot of chemicals in the food, preservatives, too much sugar, well, any sugar really. Refined sugar has been shown to be a real cause of inflammation. Agricultural chemicals in your diet, all of those things can lead to inflammation. But it's not just that. Stress and anxiety can also set up conditions in the body where you create inflammation. Poor fitness, lack of muscle strength, all forms of wear and tear because your body's not prepared for what you're putting it through, all of these things can lead to inflammation. And over time, it sneaks up on you. A few little aches and pains here. You dismiss it because you're too busy, but over time, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then one day, all of a sudden, you've got a chronic injury, or worse still, you've got cancer, or maybe you're one of those people that just drops dead with a heart attack. So keeping your body really healthy on the inside and really preventing inflammation is just smart business. Now, when you're running your business and in your role, you wouldn't let cancerous activities to take hold inside the business, things that would put the business in a precarious position. But we tend to do that with our bodies because we think one day we'll just have time to deal with it. But it's not the case. So getting lots of sleep, like good quality sleep, drinking plenty of water, and cutting back the amount of food that you eat. We all eat too much food. Using some intermittent fasting, that is, where you don't eat before, say, 12 o'clock and after 7 o'clock. So you give your body a good 17 or 18 hours of no food going in at all. And when you do eat, control what you eat and try to eat predominantly fresh foods. Consuming a lot of herbs and spices is really good, very concentrated nutrition in those foods, especially things like turmeric, green powders. Those things are fantastic. And one of the things that's really, really good for neutralizing free radicals is to actually take your shoes off and go and walk around on the grass for 15 or 20 minutes. Now, you can do that when you're making phone calls. And what happens is there's these free electrons flowing up out of the earth all of the time, and they flow freely into your body and neutralize those free radicals by giving them an electron. It's so simple. It's amazing what happens. Researchers have done this by looking at live blood analysis. I don't know whether you've ever had live blood analysis done, but it's quite amazing. They take a drop of blood, put it on a microscope slide and project it up onto a big screen, and you can see your whole life there in a drop of blood. And if you've got a lot of free radical activity, you'll see all the platelets clumped together. So the researchers looked at these people and their platelets were all clumped, and they sent them outside to walk around barefoot on the grass for 20 minutes. They came back in and tested their blood again, and the platelets were all unclumped. Amazing, blood flowing beautifully. So you can do that a couple of times a week if you like, and that really helps. Certainly supplementing with vitamin C, vitamin D, that all really helps as well, really to reduce inflammation in your body and reduce the conditions that create inflammation. So try to stay away from the processed food, keep control of your alcohol. As far as soft drink is concerned, and I'm talking about any form of fizzy drink, whether it's sweetened with sugar or aspartame, NutraSweet, or any of those other alternatives. How shall I say this? I can't see a reason why an intelligent human being would drink that stuff. Really. It is terrible. In my book, it is as bad as cigarette smoking. You take my word for it if you like. You don't have to. But seriously, it's just no good. It is such a concentrated hit of sugar in a highly acidic form. Just not good. So I'll leave that one with you. Take care of yourself. You don't have to become a monk. You can experiment with changes, over the next few weeks and work out what works for you. And if you're really unsure, go and see a naturopath, get them to have a really good look at you, especially through your iridology and those sorts of things, to just see where you're at with inflammation and help you manage it down to almost no inflammation at all. And then you set yourself up with a great chance to still be doing what you love when you're in your 90s. Take care.